Imagine you're walking home. You pass a street camera, don't even look at it. Normal, but somewhere else. Different country, different system. That same moment just got logged. Not your name, your pattern, how you walk, where you slow down, what routes you repeat without thinking. This is where it starts, not with war, with observation. And that right there, that's your first step into what people are starting to call the dark zone. Forget the maps, forget clean borders, uniforms, front lines. That version of war, it didn't disappear. It just stopped being visible. The dark zone isn't one conflict, it's a system. And everything you're about to hear connects back to it. Not all of these events are directly coordinated. They don't need to be. But the pattern they point to is. 3 rules run this system: deniability, proxies, decentralization. Meaning, if a state wants to hit something, they don't send jets anymore. Too loud, too traceable. They send someone you'd never notice. A smuggler, a contractor, a local operator. Someone who blends in so well, you'd pass them on the street without a second thought. No flag, no uniform, just outcome. This isn't chaos. This is the dark zone, working exactly how it's designed. Most people started noticing the shift around mid-2025, a brief but intense exchange between regional powers widely covered at the time. Here's what mattered. All that firepower didn't end the conflict, it pushed it underground. From open battlefields to hidden networks, from soldiers to smugglers. Same war, different skin. Then came the next layer, surveillance. Late February, unconfirmed, but widely discussed in intelligence circles. There were signs of a breach in Tehran's camera network. Millions of cameras, built to watch people. But if the reports are even partially true, those cameras got flipped, turned into a targeting system, tracking a pattern of life, not just where someone is, but how they live, how they move, how predictable they've become, until the moment to act. And just like that, the system meant to control the population became part of the strike itself. That's not an isolated story. That's the dark zone evolving. Because once surveillance becomes a weapon, the next step is outsourcing, and that's already happening. Across Europe, incidents are stacking up. Arson, targeted attacks, operations that look like street crime. A warehouse fire gets ruled accidental until a similar pattern shows up in another city. Then another. Patterns, connections, different cities. Same style, same timing. While not fully confirmed to be a single source, investigators have raised concerns about a new kind of gig economy for violence. Sometimes it's biker gangs, sometimes local crews, people who don't ask questions because they're not paid to. Not ideology, not politics, just contracts. That's the dark zone again. Same system, different players. And it doesn't stop there. In the US, prosecutors recently outlined a case involving attempts to recruit violent actors from inside the prison system. Think about that. Not trained operatives, not foreign agents, inmates, people who already understand risk. And don't scare easy. Imagine a guy sitting in a parked car, engine off, 2 blocks from a target, watching the clock, waiting for a signal that never comes through official channels. He's not a soldier, he's just a guy with nothing to lose, and a price attached to his name. The battlefield isn't a border anymore. It's wherever someone is willing to act. Meanwhile, in other regions, you see the same logic, different execution. Power structures fragment, cartels split, territories burn. Supply routes don't disappear. They evolve. They reroute, adapt, and survive, because they were never just criminal to begin with. In this system, their infrastructure. And then comes the money. A screen lights up. Berlin. Midnight, a transfer goes out. No bank, no border, no questions, no human in the loop, just systems talking to systems. That's how this system sustains itself. Quiet, fast, untraceable in real time. Billions move like this every year. Not all of it tied to conflict, but enough of it to keep the dark zone alive. And here's what makes it even more dangerous. This system doesn't need permission to operate. A transaction happens. No bank flags it. No government approves it. Just code. Running exactly how it was written to run. And somewhere on the other side of that transaction, someone gets paid. Not always a soldier. Not always a criminal. Sometimes just a regular person who didn't even realize what they were stepping into until it was already too late. That's how this spreads. Quietly, not through orders, but through opportunity. And when states respond, it doesn't look like traditional war either. Operations at sea. Unmarked targets, movements that don't make headlines, but shift outcomes anyway. So what are we looking at? Warfare? Or something harder to define? Because when the definition of enemy shifts, so do the rules. The battlefield didn't end, it didn't relocate, it dissolved. Everything overlaps now. State, cartel, contractor, civilian, lines blur. On purpose. That's not failure, that's design. We're witnessing the death of the smoking gun, a world where power can be exercised without a signature. And once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. Why events feel disconnected, but echo each other. Why responses feel delayed, or just unclear enough to avoid blame. It's not confusion, it's insulation. Because in the dark zone, the less you can prove, the more power you actually have. So what do you actually do with this? Start simple. Pay attention to your own digital trail. What you use, what you allow, what tracks you without you noticing. Because in this system, you don't have to be important to be mapped. And once you're mapped, you're part of it. And the worst part, most people still think this is optional. Like you can log off, turn your phone off, and step out of it. You can't. Because it's not just your phone anymore. Traffic cameras, payment systems, delivery networks, behavior patterns, even habits can be tracked better than identities. Even the places you go to feel anonymous aren't anonymous anymore. You don't enter the dark zone, you're already inside it. This system runs on normal people, doing small things that don't feel connected. A message sent, a package moved, a payment cleared. Individually, nothing. Together, that's infrastructure. And once that infrastructure exists, it doesn't need headlines anymore. It just keeps running. I'll keep tracking this. The money, the routes, the people behind it. If you want the deeper breakdown, just say, light it up, stay sharp, stay aware. Because the real power, it's not the one you see. It's the one you can't prove exists.